Trinadapi Sunichena Torariva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Vikivalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyata. Blessings on all of you. We are doing this program for the first anniversary disappearance of Praful Gandhi, father of Manish. And I think we will be doing this program every year, I think. During this month of Kartik is most auspicious. Manish has instructed me to give 2 lectures. The subject matter is the importance of the human form of life. So the first 30-minute will be based on Bhagavad Gita. And then the second one is based on Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you're ready to hear, hearing is the first item of spiritual life, to hear. I would ask you to please fold your hands over your heart and repeat after me. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We have just uttered the 12-syllable mantra, which signifies the absolute truth in his personal form as Vasudeva. Everybody say?
Vasudeva.
So, in the first statement of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, because in chapter 1, all Krishna says to Arjuna, behold the armies, behold the Kurus. That's all Krishna said in chapter 1. But in chapter 2, Krishna begins his instructions. And the first thing Krishna says, Kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupasvitam anarya jushnam asvargyam akirti karam Arjuna. So Krishna says, Arjuna, because in chapter 1, Arjuna argued why he should not fight the war. He gave arguments based on his position as a Kshatriya, the morality of the war. He gave arguments on the basis of how it would affect future society. So Arjuna gave good reasons, arguments why he did not want to fight. But Krishna's response is, Kutastva, Arjuna, where is this kashmalam, dirtiness, this lamentation? Where is this coming from? This is the hour of crisis. This is the beginning of the war. There's no more negotiation. Today we fight. This is the crucial point. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, why are you acting like this? This is dirty consciousness. Then he uses this next word, anarya. Everybody say.
Anarya.
So Krishna says, anarya, you are talking like somebody who is not Aryan. Now what's an Aryan? Aryan means a person who understands the value of human life. And Aryan, the Aryan race, is that human society which has spiritual pursuit as priority. They do not neglect material responsibilities, but at the same time, they have their priorities straightened out. Yes, they have to live in society, they have to work, have to take care of families, so many responsibilities, both men, women, and children. Everybody has responsibilities. But material responsibilities alone does not make one Aryan. No, there must be this other added feature. What is that? The understanding of spiritual self-realization, inquiry into what is God, what is the soul, what is this cosmic manifestation, and what is the relationship of these. They have a relationship. It's meant for spiritual inquiry. So Krishna is saying, the way you are talking, Arjuna, in chapter 1, that you don't want to fight, and you're giving all these so-called moral and social and religious ideas justifying your not wanting to fight. Krishna is saying, no. You are talking like somebody who does not know the value of real human life. Then he says, Asvargyam. Arjuna, the way you're talking, you're not going to be elevated in the next life. Everyone is trying in the world. Everybody is trying to improve. Everyone is trying to better themselves materially. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Trying to improve. But Krishna is saying to Arjuna, the way you're speaking, you're not going to be elevated. You're not going to be promoted. Just like in your school. Children, you're in school. You're working, studying, and you want to be promoted. You don't want to have to repeat the same class over and over again. Stay stuck in freshman year and then do it again and again. No, you want to be promoted. But Krishna is saying, Arjuna, the way you're talking, you're not going to be promoted. You're not going to go to the higher heavenly planets. Then he says the next word, Akirti. You are a Kshatriya. For a Kshatriya, one of the most important things for a Kshatriya is his name and fame. That a Kshatriya is a person who, by his chivalrous activities, he becomes famous in the world. Not famous for sinful activities. That's the problem with Kali Yuga. We have politicians, we have all these people. They're famous, but they're famous for irreligious, sinful, nonsense activities. That's the problem with today's election. They're famous, wealthy, aristocratic, but for all the wrong reasons. Very bad reasons. So Krishna, but for our proper Kshatriya, the real warrior, the true warrior, fame is important, but he wants to become famous for the right thing, for the good cause, on religious principles. Just like those of you who know the Mahabharata. Yudhishthira was famous, but famous for his piety, his religiousness, his morality. On the other hand, who did you have? Duryodhana. He was also famous, but famous for his cunning and his cheating. So that two people, both famous, but one was famous in the good way, one was famous in the bad way. Same way, Ravan was famous, but what was he famous for? Being a Rakshasa, being a man-eater, and defiling women. He was famous for that. But then you had Ram. Everybody say.
Ram.
Ram was also famous, but famous because he was the ideal king. He was the perfect son of his father. When everybody tried to tell Ram, no, 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 you don't have to go to the forest to keep the honor of the word of your father. Even his brother Bharat said, I'll take your place. All the citizens of Ayodhya came when Ram first left and he was in the forest. They all said, we're not leaving. We're going to, and Bharat said, I'll take your place. You come back and sit on the throne. Ram said, no, I must honor the word of my father. So Ram was famous for his word, for his judgment, for his honor, for all the right reasons. Then you had that rascal Ravan. So Krishna is accusing Arjuna, Akirti, by the way you're talking, you're going to become infamous. You'll become famous in the wrong way. So here's the first verse in Bhagavad Gita, which gives us some idea of what it means, the value of life. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra one time.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I must admit, Manish, when you gave me this assignment, I had to spend some time researching all the verses that would be appropriate. Thank you for giving me that service. So the next verse, which we can speak about the purpose of human life, also in chapter 2, Yam imang pushpatang bachang paravadantya vipashtitaha vedavada rata partha nanyad astiti vadanaha kamatmana svargapara janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulang bogaishvaya gating prati. So now in this verse, Krishna is also pointing out some fallacy. Men of small knowledge, notice how Krishna, men of small knowledge, they're very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification in opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So this ties into what I said. Previously I said there's nothing wrong with material advancement, provided it's balanced with spiritual pursuit. So here's the same thing. Krishna is saying there's a class of men, they think they're very religious and pious because they follow the scriptures, but they only have material improvement as their goal. As it says here, they say there's nothing more than that. That they think, yes, religion is necessary, but why? Because it'll improve your material life. They say that's it. And we see that in all the religions of the world, all of them. The churches, the temples, the mosques, they're full of people. The preachers are preaching, you follow this religion, you'll go to heaven, or you'll become wealthy, or you'll become powerful, or you'll have a nice life. And they think that's all that matters, just that. But Krishna says no. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita and the real teaching of the Vedas is that is not sufficient. You must balance that with spiritual pursuit, understanding who I am, who is God. Let's go now to another verse in chapter 2. Buddhi yukto jahatiha hube sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujasva yoga karmasyu kaushalam. Now in this verse, Krishna points out who is the real human being, who is somebody who's first class. Because yes, our American Constitution and the American philosophy is all men are created equal. Okay, we can accept that. But actually we see that maybe all men are created equal, but they don't behave equal. That's something else. Because we find first class men, second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class. I think there's somebody running for president, he's 10th class. We see different classes of human beings. Yes, they may be created equal, but they're not acting like that. So here Krishna points out who is first class. Who is first class? Somebody who is engaged in spiritual life, which we call Bhakti Yoga. Everybody say those two words.
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga is a linking process whereby you link with God by means of loving devotional service. That word is very important. Srila Prabhupada, when defining bhakti repeatedly throughout all his books, he just doesn't say loving devotion, because that could turn into something very sentimental. I've heard people say, oh, I have so much bhakti for my wife. No, bhakti means devotional service. And service is rendered to God. Bhakti means rendering service to God. So Krishna says here, if you are engaged in this loving devotional service to who? God. And by the way, who is God? What's his name? Oh, very good. I'm in the right place. Very good. So a man engaged, or a woman, or a child engaged in devotional service to God, what happens? You rid yourself of both good and bad reactions in this life. Now somebody may say, wait a second. If I do bhakti, I'm going to become free from my good reactions? Yes. You want to become free from your good reactions. Why? Because if you're attached to your good reactions, you got to come back and take birth again. You want to come back and go to school again? No. I don't. No. Because the ultimate goal of human life is liberation, moksha. Going back home, back to Godhead. But if I'm still having some good reaction, I got to take birth again in order to enjoy it. So it's important. And this concept appears a second time in Bhagavad Gita. Again, Krishna reiterates this point later, that by doing devotional service, you become free from both good and bad. The result of bad activities is suffering. Nobody wants suffering, right? Nobody wants it. Yes, people want happiness, which is the result of good activities. But the devotee wants to transcend. All right, let's go. There's more to be said on this topic. Nakarmana manarambhan naishkarmyang purushoshnute nacha sanyasanad eva siddhing samadhi gachtati. Now in this verse, Krishna is also pointing out another fallacy. What is that fallacy? Some people think, right now I'm too entangled in this material world. Everything's going bad. I'm losing. I've got so much stuff going on in my life. I just want to become free from all this. Therefore, they think the solution is just stop working. Just stop acting. Because what's problem is, they're doing activities, and every activity they do, this makes them become more entangled. So, logically they think, oh, if I just stop acting altogether, then there'll be no more entanglement. But Krishna says, no. You cannot achieve perfection by that tactic. You will not achieve perfection. Next verse. We're in chapter 3 right now. So here's another verse from chapter 3. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtatya karma krit karyate hi avashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he or she has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So this supports what Krishna just said. Even you think, I will stop all activity, Krishna says, you're kidding yourself. Because the soul, by nature, must be active. Even when you're sleeping at night, what's active? The mind. That's how you have dreams. The mind doesn't go to sleep. No. So even you're sleeping, you're not doing anything, it just looks like you're laying there, you're still active. So the soul by nature is always active. And you're going to follow the nature that you have acquired from so many birth after birth. Just like every one of us has a nature. Arjun is different from you. Nimai Charan is different from Manish. Everybody has their own unique personality and nature. That didn't happen overnight. That's been cultivated after millions and millions and millions of lifetimes. Get used to yourself. You're not going anywhere. Now the question is, do I like my nature? Do I like what I see in the mirror? Do I like how people think of me? Do I like my inclinations? If you don't like your nature, Bhagavad Gita will teach you how to change it. You can change your nature because that nature has been acquired by your association with the modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. Choosing. That's like today, you made the right choice. You could be home watching NFL TV, but you decided to come here. If you had stayed home and watched television, that's the mode of passion and ignorance. You came here, not only the mode of goodness, transcendental. So you're going to be blessed today just by coming. You're getting blessings. Besides, if you stay to the end, you also get prasad. So, depending on the choices we make in our life, we're acquiring a certain nature. Let's continue in chapter 3. Niyatam guru karma twang karma jayo hiya karmanaha Sharira ratyapi chatte na prasidyed akarmanaha. Here Krishna is telling Arjuna, perform your prescribed duty. Because that's better than not working. So this is instructive. Human life means, as I said at the beginning, everyone has responsibilities. Man has responsibility. Woman has responsibility. Children have responsibilities. So Krishna is saying, perform your prescribed duties. Where are these prescribed duties to be found? Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures. You'll find out what is your prescribed duty. Krishna says, because you must work even just to maintain the physical body. It's like you have a car. Now, it's a fact. if you let that car sit idle for months and months and months, and you try to start it, you may have some trouble. The car needs to be used to keep it in good shape. So the body is a machine. So Krishna's point here, you can't even maintain your physical body without work. Then comes this famous verse in chapter 3. Yagyartat karmanon yatra lokoyang karma bandanaha tad artang karma kaunteya mukta sangha samatara. So, Krishna just explained, right? You have to be active. The soul by nature is active. Even you're thinking of not acting, still you're going to act. So, there's no question of not working, not acting. Then, the next thing he said is, do your prescribed duty. Just even for the sake of maintaining the body, do your prescribed duty. But now comes the real thing. Work done, so it's working, but what? As a sacrifice for God, Vishnu. Everybody say that name. Everybody. Yes. You should work, but that work should be a sacrifice and offering for Vishnu. Otherwise, work causes bondage in the material world. So it's not enough just to do your prescribed duty. It's not enough just to maintain your family. That's not enough. Because even if you're just doing your job and you're maintaining your family, you're still going to be entangled in reactions. But Krishna is saying, better you do your work as a sacrifice for God, for Vishnu. We perform prescribed duties for God's satisfaction, and that will keep you free from bondage. Evang pravartitang chakram nanuvartayati yahya agayur indriya ramo mogam partha sajivati. So, in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained the cycle of sacrifice. But actually, in this age of Kali, there's only one recommended process of sacrifice. My friend, what is the recommended process of sacrifice in the age of Kali? If you chant, you surrender. If you chant, you're surrendered. Both are the same. So what's the actual process? Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Everybody chant. There's no difference between surrendering and chanting. Just like, I'll give an example. There's no difference between eating and nourishing the body. They go simultaneous. As soon as you start eating, you're nourishing. You understand? Unless you keep the food in the mouth. But if you eat the food and it goes to the stomach, immediately you're getting satisfaction and you're getting nourishment. You demonstrate your surrender to Krishna by chanting. That's how you prove it. You don't just say it, I surrender. No, you have to demonstrate that you're surrendered. You demonstrate your surrender by this Sankirtan, chanting. That's how you demonstrate. Just like in America here, the boys, they say to the girl, I love you. She goes, yeah? Prove it. Where's the ring? Huh? It's not enough just to say it. You have to demonstrate. So by doing devotional activities is how we demonstrate our surrender to Krishna. So in this verse, Krishna says, so if you don't do this sacrifice, if you don't do this chanting, right? If you don't do this, then what's happening? You are leading a sinful life. Why? Because if you're not sacrificing, if you're not doing this chanting, what are you living for? You're living for only satisfying the senses. And such a person lives in vain. So let's chant the Maha Mantra one time, everybody. All right, so now we're going to do part 2. And after we finish part 2, we will have Arti. Now today's Arti is going to be sung by Mira, correct? Don't hide. And the Arti song will be Damodarashtakam prayers. That's the Arti song. Now you also have candles for everyone to light. So, ghee lamps. So, during the Arti, everyone can come one at a time and offer a ghee lamp while the Arti is going on. And do we have a pujari for the Arti? Mira's mother? Huh? Who's doing the Arti? You're doing the Arti. Very good. All right. Everyone, please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, in the first part, we studied the value of the human form of life in terms of Bhagavad Gita. But I got so inspired by Manish's request that I went through Srimad Bhagavatam and found verses. Now, obviously, there's not enough time. I didn't even finish Bhagavad Gita, but I wanted to get some of this in as well. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa narto yascheha karma bhi. So this is one of the answers to the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami. They asked him 6 questions about human life, the goal of human life. And here's one very nice answer he gave. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So this one shloka definitely answers the question that just living for satisfaction of the senses, no. Yes, you have to take care of the body, but what does it say here? Only a healthy life or self-preservation. Because the main focus of life is inquiry into the absolute truth. I'm just going to go through the rest of these verses because they're self-explanatory. So this next verse is from Narada Muni. Narada Muni is explaining to Yudhishthir and to others. Yatha gavo nasi protas tantyang badhascha damabi Bhaktantyang nabamir baddha bahanti balam ishitu. As a cow bound through the nose by a long rope is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme Lord. So there is no way you can escape. You have to follow the laws of God or the laws of nature. In some circles, if somebody doesn't like the word God, then you can say the laws of nature. But we understand who created those laws of nature. His name is Krishna. But some people don't like Krishna or God. You can say, okay, the laws of nature, everyone is conditioned. Now, we come to another verse. Mandasya manda pragyasya vayo mandayu shavai nudraya hriyate naktang diva chavyartha karmabhi. So after the sages of Naimisharanya, they heard many things from Sutta Goswami. The leader of the sages, Shonaka, he came to this realization. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught. Again, what's the context? If I'm simply living for maintaining the body, then, and if I don't have any spiritual life, then I'm going to have to take birth again and do the same thing over and over again. I'm not making any progress. Now we come to, finally in second canto, Shukadeva Goswami, he speaks to Maharaj Parikshit. Varyane shate prashna kritaloka hitang nripa atmavit samatak pungsang srotavyadishu yapara srotavyadini rajindra nirnang santi sahasrasha apasyatam atmatatvang grihesho grihamedinam nidraya hriyate naktang vyavayena chabhavaya divachateya rajan kutumba bharanena va dehapatra kalatradishu atmasanyeshva satsvapi teshang pramato nidhanang pasyannapi na pasyati tasmad bharata sarvatma bhagavan ishvaro hari srotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyasheshatam bayam etavan sanki yogabhyam swadharma parinishtaya janmalabha parapungsa ante narayana smriti. Please repeat that last line. Ante narayana smriti. That's the conclusion of this whole set of verses by Shukadev. So, at the end of the first canto, in the first canto, towards the end, we see that Maharaj Parikshit is cursed to die. How many days does he have? 7 days. So he doesn't go on his cell phone. He doesn't freak out. He just realizes it's time. So he renounces his kingdom and he goes, where does he go? He goes to Disneyland. Where does he go? Bank of the Ganges. He sits down. And Parikshit is such a great personality. The news spreads far and wide. So all great rishis and mystics and pious people all come to see how this great king Parikshit is going to give up his body. And even demigods from the higher planets, they also come. They all want, because all of them knew that this Parikshit is a special soul. He was protected in the womb. Ashvatthama tried to kill him in the womb, but who saved him? Krishna saved him. So they knew that he was Vishnurata. He was protected by Vishnu. So they knew this was a special soul. They wanted to see how is he going to give up his body after 7 days. So And while he's sitting there, all of a sudden, this great exalted personality arrives. And all the other rishis and sages and demigods, they all stand up because they said, yes, here is the best person to guide you, Shukadeva Goswami. And he sits, and Parikshit says to Shukadev, please, I'm about to die. What is my duty? This is human life. Human life means always asking myself, what is my current duty? A responsible Aryan, which we discussed in part 1, is very much concerned, what am I supposed to be doing now? In the Bhagavad Gita, we see that when Krishna describes the demon, right? He says, what's the demon? Doesn't know what he should do and doesn't know what he should not do. He's confused. He doesn't know what to do, what not to do. That's a demon. But the person like Parikshit, he knows exactly. And he's always asking, what is my current duty? What am I supposed to be doing now? So that's Parikshit's question. Shukadev, I'm accepting you as guru. I have only 7 days left. Tell me, how should I spend these next 7 days? Here's what Shukadev responds. This is the first response. My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. So this is the first thing. A spiritual person becomes enlivened when he's asked a good question. You don't go to a spiritual person and ask him how to improve your stock folio. No. When you come in front of a saintly spiritual person, the inquiry should be spiritual. And the spiritual personality becomes enlivened by a good question. The answer to your question, Parikshit, is the prime subject matter for hearing. We're hearing all throughout the day. We're hearing. Television, radio, the wife, the husband, the children. Constantly hearing. Constantly. So many things bombarding us. But Shukadev is saying, the answer I'm going to give, this is the prime subject matter for hearing. And it is approved by all kinds of transcendentalists. Now, Shukadev starts with a punch. Persons who are materially engrossed, who are blind to knowledge of the ultimate truth, they have many subject matters for hearing. The lifetime of such an envious person is passed at night simply in sleeping or in sex. And in the daytime, money. Where is money? Sweeter than honey. Money. Or spending time maintaining family. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva. Atma Tattva means the truth of the soul. That's Atma Tattva. Persons devoid of that do not inquire into the real problem of life. Yes, the real problem of life is what Parikshit's asking. I have 7 days to live. How should I spend these last 7 days? Go on a vacation? Try to fulfill my bucket list? No. Parikshit is very conscientious. So, persons who are not spiritually inclined, they have many things they want to inquire about. But we learn from Bhagavad Gita, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. What is that aim? How to go back home back to Godhead. That is their goal. That is their aim. These people are attached to the fallible soldiers, the body, children, wife, etc. These are the fallible soldiers. These things, my bank balance, my family, my nation, my president, this is not going to save me at the time of death. Obama, Obama. No. The only person that can save you at the time of death, it's definitely not Trump. The only person that can save you at the time of death is? Only some of you know? Let me hear. Krishna. Thank you. And still, they do not see their inevitable destruction. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries. Who wants to be free from all miseries? Very good. So, Shukadev is giving you the answer. Pay attention. Here is the answer. You're not going to see this on CNN. They don't know. Those who desire to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, who is the Supersoul. So what's the name of that person who's the Supersoul? Ah, very good. So I must hear about Krishna, I must glorify Krishna, and remember Krishna. He's also the controller and the savior from all miseries. So that's very important lesson to take away. Shukadev just gave you the way to become free from all miseries. Hear about Krishna, glorify, and always remember Krishna. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, or by practice of mystic yoga powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty. So these are the different paths. These are the paths available. Some people, they think, I will acquire lots of knowledge, metaphysical and material, all kinds of knowledge, both numinous, as explained in Bhagavad, spiritual knowledge, material knowledge, and in between. They think just by acquiring knowledge, that's how I will achieve my liberation. Some think, oh, I will achieve my liberation by mystic powers. Or some people think, nah, just do your occupational duty, that's all. But Shukadev says, whatever. Regardless, you can achieve everything by remembering the personality of Godhead. What's his name? At the end of life. Ante Narayana Smriti. That's why Lord Chaitanya, when he's instructing Sanatan Goswami, he's giving so much information. He says, actually, there's only one commandment. The Christians, they have 10 commandments. Very nice. We have only one commandment. What is that commandment? Always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's it. If you accept that commandment, you're good to go. Now, I said one, but I said two things, didn't I? Because they actually go hand in hand. Because if I never forget Krishna, then I'm always remembering. See how it works? So therefore, of the two, first was mentioned, always remember Krishna, and the second one was, never forget. In the Vedas, when two things are given, the last one is more important. So therefore, never forget Krishna. Now, how are you going to do that? Here's how you will never forget Krishna. Say hello to my little friend. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Which is why Lord Chaitanya says, Kirtaniya, that word sada, or another word, Nirantara. Prabhupada gave me the best name. I just have to meditate on my name, Nirantara, always. Always eat? Is that what Prabhupada wants me to do? Always eat? No. Always what? Chant. Always chant. Will you bless me that I can always chant? I want that blessing. I'm going to give blessings after, but now I want blessing from you. Come on, bless me. Govind, I thought you were my friend. Oh, really? I don't get blessings that way. I need the actual blessings. After all, I've been with you a long time. All right, let's read some more. We have some time. We have 10 minutes. Okay, here's another one. King Paramatasya Bahubi Parokshire Hayanar Iha Varang Muhurtang Viditang Gatate Sreyase Yataha. This is Parikshit. I'm not Parikshit. This is Shukadev. So Shukadev is saying, my dear king, so you may live a long, 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 long life, but if you're not doing any Krishna consciousness, even though you're living for such a long time, it's a waste of time. He says, better one moment of full consciousness, because that gives you a start in searching after the supreme absolute truth. So there's a nice story in this connection. The story of Maharaj Katvanga, just to illustrate this point. So Maharaj Katvanga was an earthly king, but he was very powerful. So Kartikeya and the demigods, they enlisted him. You come fight on behalf of us Devatas, because who do the Devatas always fight? Demons, right? They're always fighting, so that's interesting. Even you live in the heavenly planets, you still got to deal with the demons. So you may think, oh, I want to go to the heavenly planets. It's not vacation. You may be a demigod and you have all this great opulence, but still it's interrupted because, talk about the wall, the demons are always trying to enter the heavenly planets. They're the original, what is that word they use nowadays? Anyway, foreign invaders, illegals. They're always trying to enter the heavenly planets. So, the demigods, they needed help fighting the demons, so they got this Katvanga. And they fought for a long time. So the demigods, of course, they always win. They always win. Why do they always win? Who's on their side ultimately? Krishna, Narayan. So it's just a matter of time. They're going to win. So after they won, Kartikeya went to Katvanga. Maharaj, thank you. You did a great job for us. We're very appreciative. So you can ask for a benediction. Now the demigods can give wonderful benedictions, right? Many benedictions they can give. But Katvanga was very intelligent. He said, you want to give me a benediction? How much time do I have left on my life? The demigods looked at their cell phone. They went on Google and they said, oh, you have 1 moment left to live. That's it. 1 moment. What did Katvanga do? Where is Hiran? You're going to like this answer. Pay attention. So what did Katvanga do? He immediately surrendered. So you made your point. He immediately surrendered. And by that surrendered, where did he go? Back home, back to Godhead. He immediately, but it didn't say how he surrendered, but he surrendered. So in that split second, he fully surrendered, went back home, back to Godhead. So I think we should all surrender right now. What do you say, Hiran? So everyone, sit properly. Raise your hand. And we're going to surrender to Krishna. Repeat after me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. You did it. Better a moment of full, that's it, full, we did it. Now I can die. Oh, but I didn't die. I guess there's still more work to do. Okay, now this next verse, Lord Brahma is talking to the other Devatas, and he's describing Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. And he's giving a detailed description how Lord Narayan looks, what goes on, what's the trees and the flowers, and how are the buildings, and Lakshmi is there. And he gives a detailed, scenic idea of what it's like to be in Vaikuntha. So in that he says, my dear demigods, the human form of life is of such importance that we, meaning himself and all the demigods, also desire to have such a life. So don't feel bad. The demigods wish it they could be human beings. Why? Now the question is why? They're living in heaven. It's like it would be odd, right? Say somebody is living in Beverly Hills and decides, no, I want to go live in Beirut. Or, no, I think I'll leave Beverly Hills and let's go on a vacation to Baghdad. Or where's that place? Mosul, you know, Mosul. Anybody want to take a vacation to Mosul right now? I don't think so. People trying to get out of Mosul, right? You would think it's crazy. The guy's living in Beverly Hills and he wants to go to Mosul. What's wrong? So in the same way, the demigods, they're in the heavenly planets, and they're saying, no, we would rather take birth as human beings. Why? Because in the human form of life, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in the human form of life does not understand, now here's the key, all right? Here is the key. This is Lord Brahma, the creator. So his opinion is very, very important, okay? Lord Brahma is considered the most intelligent person in the universe. That's why he's Lord Brahma. Unlike our American politics where any idiot can run for president, all right? To be a Lord Brahma, you got to be the most intelligent person. You can't get there by doing a reality TV show. If you want to be a Lord Brahma, you have to be qualified, okay? You can't fake it. So Lord Brahma is saying, the human form of life, what is your responsibility? First of all, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his abode. That's what we should be doing in the human form of life. Understanding God and his abode. That's why we read Bhagavatam. And that's why Prabhupada loved to chant that Brahma Sanghita. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalparaviksha lakshavrateshu surabhira vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevyamanam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. One line gives you a beautiful description of Goloka Vrindavan. These are to be meditated upon. These are to be studied. This 15th chapter of Canto 3, as I said, a description of Vaikuntha. And so Brahma says, if you're not understanding God in his abode, then you are very much, too much affected by the external nature. I have time. Oh, that's it. We'll end there. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yashomati Nandana Brajavaro Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yashomati Nandana Brajavaro Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Yashomati Nandana Brajavaro Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Kalya Damana Vidhana Kalya Damana Vidhana Kalya Damana Vidhana Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Vipina Purandara Navinagara Bodha Vangshi Badana Subhasa Vipina Purandara Navinagara Bodha Vangshi Badana Subhasa Vipina Purandara Navinagara Bodha Vangshi Badana Subhasa Braja Jana Palana Sura Kula Nashana Braja Jana Palana Sura Kula Nashana Braja Jana Palana Sura Kula Nashana Nanda Godhana Rakowala Nanda Godhana Rakowala Nanda Godhana Rakowala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala. Sit in front of the microphone and you sing. Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Basanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya. Yamunatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya
Yamuna Tata Para Vasinda Jana
Yamunatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Yamunatachara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara 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 Vakati Vinoda Sraya
Bhakti Vinodaya
Sraya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Bolo
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshacharine
Namaste
Gauravani Charine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Savine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nittai Gauranga, Nittai Gauranga. Nittai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Nittai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Nittai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Nittai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhrajakachacha Stotra Satyasi Siman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anand